Dr. Ian Smith is in the building and joining us at the table. That's right.
Yes, he is.
That's right. I've already been bugging him in a break here about a diet. He's going to be helping me out, and we'll be talking a little bit more about that. But let's start now with an 18-year-old girl in Utah got the internet talking when she decided to wear a traditional Chinese dress to prom. Apparently, she received a lot of support from people actually living in China, but social media users are commenting that this is social appropriation. Do you guys agree with this?
What's social appropriation? I've only heard of cultural appropriation.
I think it's cultural appropriation, but maybe this is an offshoot of that in terms of basically appropriating a culture that's not yours.
Yeah, I don't feel like she's being disrespectful. If there's something that you like that's a part of another culture, then what's wrong with experiencing that or celebrating that? I feel like it's gone too far. People are getting a little too sensitive.
First of all, I thought she looked great in that dress.
Yeah.
I think she looked good, first of all. Secondly,
she's covered.
She's covered.
Most importantly for a prom dress.
Right. But, you know, I was in China last year, and their dresses are so beautiful. They're so fashionable, and they're very culturally distinct. I think it's more of an homage to say that, you know, I like this design. I don't look at it as a bad thing at all.
Let me ask you guys this: if this was let's say a white girl who dressed in African garb, would it maybe be a little bit more harsh or jarring to you in that regard?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be offended. I would say, oh, wow, it would make her stand out to me for sure, but I wouldn't be offended by that at all.
I think we have to be more open-minded about allowing people to, you know, especially from an artistic standpoint, to enjoy other types of cultures and their fashions. I think it's just about being open. I wouldn't be offended by that unless, for example, she was trying to make you know, if there's something else going with it, but if she's doing it because she likes the dress, she likes the colors, I think that's great.
It's all about how it's done.
You're saying it's like fashionable too.
Yeah,
like
I think well, Dr. Ian was saying they're very trendy in China and their dresses are gorgeous. And I felt like this was a really pretty dress and she meant it in a positive way. And so when I was thinking about this, I was like, you know, we eat every different culture's food. That's accepted.
Right.
Yeah, we do.
We try and understand other people's languages. And if you don't, then you're almost thought of as insular.
That's right. That's
you know, and so I thought that, you know, paying homage is really the right word to other people's clothing, and it actually brings people closer together.
To me, 100%. I feel like there's so much change going on in the world with, you know, different movements, most recently the Me Too movement, and bringing awareness to things that people just for so long weren't aware of. We talk about LGBT curriculum being established in the schools, something that we went without for so long and weren't aware that it was needed. And I think maybe we're getting to a place with this girl in particular and coming at her on social media that there's an overload of it. You want to make sure that you're being aware of stuff and you're paying attention to those who may be slighted. And sometimes it gets out of control. I think we can kind of agree that with this one, maybe it's getting out of control. There's good, like the Me Too movement, like the LGBT curriculum, and then there's bad when you come at a young girl like this who's just wearing a pretty dress.
It's all about context. And I think her context was she wanted to look beautiful for her prom. She actually looked beautiful for her prom. She wasn't making a statement. Great.
Yeah, context is good. I would love to hear from more like Chinese Americans and see if they feel differently, if there's something that we're missing. But from what I know, I feel like it's fine and definitely all about context.
So we can agree with that one. All right, according to a new study, the average person spends almost 80% of the time focused on regret about the past or anxiety about the future. That takes a toll on your health, both mentally and physically. Are you surprised by these numbers, Doc?
Not at all. One of my books is called Happy, The Simple Steps to Get the Most Out of Life. And one thing in my research I realized is that people spend too much time dwelling on negativity instead of dwelling on going forward and being positive. So listen, I'm not saying that if something bad happens or something's negative, you should process it for sure. You should take your time, process it, but then you have to learn how to move on. And people, unfortunately, stay in that particular space and they can't move beyond it, and it becomes contaminating.
I think I'm a worrier. I think I get stressed out about it. And I think a lot of women are in general, but people, you know, I guess we should say people in general for sure. But I feel like it does stress me out more than it should. And I try to work on that and train my mind to focus on positive things and also to, like, there's a time and a place for everything. There's a time to think and maybe worry, but there's also a time to be calm and at peace as well.
I'm with you. I think I hate gendering things, but I feel that way too.
Yeah.
And I wonder from the guys, do you see that? Do you think women worry more than men?
You want to talk offline about this?
Right.
Well,
I'm giving you free reign. I'm giving you free reign.
Well, my feeling is, you know, a lot of guys just let things go.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm the kind of guy where if we have an issue, we'll deal with it, then I'm on to something else. Like I don't really stay there and worry. I mean, it's just kind of like, it is what it is, let's move on. I do think that it's kind of one of those gender things, like you said, that women instinctually worry a little more. Guys tend to be a little kind of freewheeling and, you know, I know we're generalizing, but that's been my experience.
My girlfriend is planning for 2019, July 4th. not 2018, 2019.
That's not worry.
Wait a second, what are y'all going to be doing that needs that much planning?
I'm just making a joke, but I do also think that there's, and in the article that we were reading in regards to this story was marrying wonder and worry can be beneficial. And I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that, Doc, because I do think sometimes you can use that worry to drive you. Like, I'm worried about my health. I'm worried about my appearance. It's driven me to lose this weight. So sometimes you can take that anxiety and use it to drive you for something positive.
Yeah, it's all about the threshold, right? So, you know, the body has the flight or fight response, okay, which is when you get kind of anxious about something, the body, evolutionary from a standpoint, actually has to try to figure this thing out. That's good because it helps you avoid danger, it helps you overcome obstacles, but it becomes bad when it's taxing on you for too long. So worry is good up to a point, and then excessive worry obviously has deleterious effects.
What is you guys have any quick tips for trying to relieve stress or worry or any, you know, I guess milder mental?
My quick thought is
health
just
issues?
sort through it, identify what that issue is, and then determine how can I approach this to alleviate some of that pressure in society and anxiety. How serious is this relative to everything else going on? Maybe treat this in a compartmentalized fashion every day, and then let it go, and then go ahead and attack the rest of your life. That's the rest of your day.
a good one.
You have a quick
Mine
tip?
is always weights or the gym. I just got to sweat
Really?
it
I
out.
like that.
Yeah,
that
no,
was
Doc,
mine.
that was
And I'm not just saying that because it's cute.
but you also meditate is also something.
I
that you
try,
like to
yeah. I've been more stressed out lately.
And can I just say real fast that people should spend 45 minutes a day doing something that they want to do for themselves.
Oh, I like
and
that.
people
Oh,
don't
I
do
love
that, by
that.
the way. It's only 45 minutes. People are so busy and distracted that they don't take 45 minutes to do whatever it is that they enjoy strictly for themselves, and that makes a big difference.
Just 45 minutes?
That's-
Can I
well-
get a little bit more?
Well, you can, but people don't even take 45
Yeah,
minutes. I'm
you're
just saying
right.
that's a good starting
tough.
point, right?
Because I can think of so many things to do in 45 minutes, like sleeping, eating,
That's right.
napping.
TV
like
show.
so much that needs to be done.
Yeah.